everybody, Skylar Callan here with Mountaineer Maven on Sports Illustrated, and today we have another former Mountaineer on the show, and that is former West Virginia guard Chase Harler, Moundsville native. He grew up right down the street from me. I'm from Wheeling, West Virginia, so I went to John Marshall. I still hold that against you, Chase, for not going to John Marshall. but,
That's funny.
but anyways, we'll get past that. Talking
Yeah.
about early in your career, so high school, middle school, when did you first get into basketball and knew that it could be something that it could take you pretty far?
I started playing organized basketball in fourth grade at it's called St. Francis Xavier School. It's no longer open. The building's still there, but the school's not. So I played basketball and baseball all the way up to eighth grade. And then in high school I decided just to do basketball. So I'd probably say seventh and eighth grade, probably seventh grade I started taking basketball a little bit more serious.
Awesome. Now, I did have a question about Wheeling Central. So, when you did decide to go to Wheeling Central, what went into that decision? And obviously, they have a really good historic basketball program. So, obviously, there's a lot there.
Yeah, so I like I said, I went to St. Francis, and it was kind of shutting down at the time, and there wouldn't have been enough players to have a seventh and eighth grade basketball team, so I had to leave. So I went to Our Lady of Peace, which is in Bethlehem, and then that's actually like a feeder school in the Wheeling Central. And I looked at the basketball a little bit, but to be honest, the only reason I went to Central is because all my friends were going to go to Central. Eighth grade. I mean, realistically, I had a lot of friends that are going to go to Wheeling Central, and obviously, I was thinking about Wheeling Park, John Marshall, Bishop, all that. But honestly, just kind of came down to my friends going to Wheeling Central.
Now, how different was it on choosing a high school compared to choosing a college? Is it completely different for you?
Yeah, it was definitely different. It kind of high school was kind of just like a day process where I was just like my dad and I had conversations, my parents, whatever, had conversations with me what high school I wanted to go to, and then one day I was just like, I think I'm gonna go to Wheeling Central, and they were like, okay, and then that was the end of it. You know what I mean? But during my recruiting process, I had 4 prior offers to WVU, and kind of my recruitment was kind of taken off, to be honest. And then when WVU came in, they were kind of the first like Power 5 bigger school to contact me, and um, I kind of had to think: do I want to commit on the spot, or do I want to kind of see where my recruitment can take me? And at the end of the day, I knew I wanted to go to WVU, and committed on the spot.
Yeah, for Mountaineer fans who have followed you throughout your entire career, even before you got to college, they all know you grew up being a Mountaineer fan. So when you got that offer, what ran through your mind? Did you just think as soon as you got the offer, like, that's where I'm going to go, or did it take a little bit of time to kind of process?
So, like I said, I started my recruitment process started this summer going into my junior year. At that point, I had four other offers, and my dad actually talked to Huggins on the phone about 2 weeks before their elite camp, which is in August, and he told my dad, let's get Chase down here and let's see if we can make him a Mountaineer. So in my mind, well, we were talking, and we really kind of didn't understand what that meant. That could mean you have to do this and this and this to go to W. I mean, be an opportunity to play WVU, because in the back of my mind, I didn't want to have to go to like a prep school or transfer. I wanted to stay at Wayne Central. So we kind of our minds were racing trying to figure out what that meant. So I went down to the elite camp as a 2-day camp. Performed pretty well, and then at the end of the camp, my parents came to pick me up, and we actually went up to Huggins' office, and that's when he pretty much said, "Yeah, we'd like to offer you a scholarship." And I remember I just sat there. I didn't say anything. My mom was like, "You gonna say something?" Because prior to the camp, we had my dad and I discussed if I wanted to commit on the spot, and I kind of made the decision I wanted to do that. So once he said that, I was just sitting there in disbelief, really. And my mom was like, "You gonna say something?" I was like, "Yeah, like if I commit on the spot." Like I was so excited to say that. So yeah,
Now,
like I said, I committed right after my sophomore year of high school.
now, how intimidating was it that first time that you got to meet Coach Huggins? I mean, he's a loving guy, but on the outside, if you don't really know him personally yet, he can seem like a kind of an intimidating factor.
Yeah. I went down there a couple times before I committed. I went on like one unofficial, but it was like a whole bunch of people there. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't anything serious, and spoke to him a little bit. But yeah, definitely when the first time you meet him, because he's a big dude. I mean, he's like six
Oh yeah.
five, 6'4". You know what I mean? So like, but you see him on the floor and how he acts, and he's just really intense and everything. But off the court, he's a completely different guy.
Yeah, no, we all know he's got that famous stool on the sideline, but during practice, I'm sure he's as active as about anybody. Is that true? Does he kind of run up and down the floor with you guys a little
Uh, I wouldn't say run up and
bit?
down the floor, but he has his moments where if someone if someone's on a stance or something on defense, he'll drop down into a stance and say, I'm 60 plus years old, I had 2 hip replacements, like I can get in a stance, stuff like that, and he loves trying to because when guys are posting up, they try to have contact, make contact, right? So if you're a defender, you don't want to have contact when someone's trying to post you up. I mean, it's hard to do. So he always gets the big and say, "Try to post me up, try to post me up," and he's moving out of the way and everything. It's pretty funny, but no, he's very animated and intense, and you can definitely tell, he still loves the game.
I would love to see somebody. May have to get back into practice next year and get video of Oscar trying to back in.
Oh,
That would be.
none of the bigs can seal him. I don't know if they're not trying hard enough, but he's really talented. None of the bigs can seal him. It's pretty entertaining to see.
Maybe they're taking it easy on him. Maybe that's the case. Now, whenever you're talking about practice, and obviously he's a great coach, and players love him, they gravitate to him. He's a player's type of coach. But what is it about Huggins that really makes him a great coach? And not just as a person, but what does he do philosophy-wise that makes you guys better?
I think just first and foremost, he's extremely honest. Early in my career, I took that as like he didn't like me. You know what I mean? He'd get on me, and he was just being honest. And then early, I couldn't really handle that. But I think it's just his mindset, his defensive mindset, just the willingness to, I mean, we didn't do Press Virginia this past 2 years, but just think about that. You're getting high school all stars that are coming in,
Yeah.
and you're getting them to press for 40 minutes. I mean, that definitely takes some. You got to. There's no negotiation with him. You know what I mean? You're gonna do what
Oh
he
yeah.
says. But no, he really understands the game. You see how much he cares about his players, and I think that's kind of what separates him from a lot of guys, just how much he cares.
The first 2 years of your career, you guys made the tournament, had a pretty decent run against Villanova. You guys were up, had a chance to win that game to advance to the Elite Eight. Then we all know about last year. How
Yeah,
tough was last year compared to those first 2 years of being able to, like, you guys just knew that you were going to make a deep run in the tournament. And then all of a sudden,
yeah,
it's like everything just went wrong.
yeah. That was definitely a learning process. Yeah, just having JC guys like Javon and Dax, guys you can really, really, really like rely on. They're going to make the big shot and make the right play. And going into my junior year, um, we kind of struggled to find someone like that. I mean, everyone had their moments, but um, it was just a weird vibe, to be honest. I mean, as far as I can remember, and I've been a part of the program, I'm not used to losing that much. So, um, like I said, I think I've had a pretty roller coaster career here at WVU. I've been on 2 Sweet 16s. I've been on arguably one of the worst WVU basketball teams, and this year that's what made this year a lot special for me. I think the turnaround we made.
Yeah, did you guys expect that turnaround to happen so fast? I mean, I'm assuming you guys kind of knew it more so than the fans did. I mean, the fans were probably thinking maybe a little bit step before, but
Yeah.
you guys took a gigantic step. I mean, you came out really hot. You beat then
Mhm.
number two Ohio State, which is probably something for you was a really cool moment.
Yeah. Um, I think that once we went to Spain and we kind of just built such a strong bond and chemistry off the floor, and we were playing well in Spain. Like you said, I'm not sure what the fans were expecting for us to play as well as we did, but for me, I can definitely say I was expecting that. Um, no, we were just gelling. I mean, we kind of went through that little rough patch in February, but no, overall, um, I definitely expected us to have the season we did, and I kind of wish we would have got to make a run in the Big 12 and March Madness.
Yeah. So, what was the difference between last year's struggles and this year's February struggles? Was there any similarities in those two time spans, or was it just this team was just still learning how to play together and grow?
Um, I think our issue, I don't know, maybe a little bit defensive, assertiveness. Maybe when you're playing that well for that, we wanted that nice little run where we're playing super well. At times you get a little complacent.
Yeah.
Um, so I think maybe we struggle with that, during that little stretch. But um, the difference I thought from last year to this year, you know, last year we couldn't get ourselves out of that hole, and then this year, our will to win, our will to get better, kind of got us out of that little slump.
Now, I don't know if anybody else had a better senior day than you. Everyone knows about this by now, but you get not only do you get engaged before the game, it's your senior day. It's just a tremendous day, and then you beat number 4 Baylor. Could you have
Yeah.
ever pictured when you first stepped foot in Morgantown at the W Coliseum that you would ever end your career the way you did?
Um, no, definitely not. I tell people this all the time, but my freshman year, I told a couple of my friends I wanted to propose to Lindsay on my senior night. I'm pretty sure they just laughed and kind of really didn't think much of it, but it definitely stuck with me over my 4 years. And um, I would like to maybe hit one of my 3 pointers I took on senior night, but um, no. But the proposal, trumps any memory I've had at WVU.
Yeah, now a football player, Reese Donahue, he did it just a year ago. So when he did it, did that kind of cement that you knew you were going to do it at all?
No, that was really cool when he did it, but I mean, I had it in the back of my mind. I was a little nervous to ask Hugs just because I didn't want to come off as like a distraction.
Right.
We're playing number 4 Baylor last game. You know what I mean? So, but when I went up and talked to him, he was all for it. So I'm happy it went as smoothly as it did.
That's awesome, man. And congratulations to you guys, by the way. That's
Thank
great
you.
stuff. Now moving to obviously everything that is happening right now in the country and across the world with coronavirus, your season, and not only your season, but your career ended very abruptly. So you didn't get that chance to get back to the tournament for the first time in 2 years. What was that moment like when you felt just kind of like the news just go through and understand that you're not going to be able to play for West Virginia?
Yeah. The night before we were chilling in my room, I think, and we were watching NBA games. And when the NBA decided to postpone their season or suspend their season or whatever, I had a bad feeling about the next day. We were sitting in the lobby. We'd shoot around at 11:30. It was about 11 o'clock, and then I'm scrolling through Twitter, and I see like the Big Ten starts canceling their tournament, and
Yeah,
the ACC, and then one of our coaches texted us and said, "No, pack your bags. The Big 12 tournament's canceled. We could leave within the hour." We ended up not leaving for like 8 hours because we just sat in the lobby because of whatever with our plane. But um, when that happened, I had a bad feeling about March Madness as well. I was actually sitting with Huggins, and the news broke on the TV, and the whole lobby just went quiet. Like it was dead silent for like a minute. Um, I think that's really when it started to sink in, and it's just been weird. It's definitely been weird
it,
for sure. Yeah, that's the
absolutely.
best way to describe it. Is just weird. That's what I tell
It
people.
really is.
It's just weird.
I tell everybody on our staff, it's like we all went about our normal days, and then just randomly some day, just like we just
Yeah, yeah,
hit a brick wall and everything stopped. Especially the
yeah,
sports world. For us in the
yeah. I
sports
mean,
world, that's what we live on.
yeah, I think when it happened, I didn't agree with them just canceling it right away, but seeing now how severe it is, I mean, I don't blame them for doing it. Obviously, I don't want it to happen, but safety of others is really important. So
Now,
I understand why they did it.
what was the first comments that Huggins said to you guys, you three seniors, you, Logan, and Jermaine, whenever the news did break? Did he
Yeah,
get you guys together and have a discussion?
we were in the lobby, and he came up to us and gave us a hug and just said sorry this had to happen. And then we actually had a quick little, probably like 15-minute team meeting when we got back to Morgantown in our film room, and pretty much just said this is something he's never experienced, obviously, and just felt bad for us seniors.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one, especially for Jermaine. You never got that chance to really go and play in March Madness. That really
Yeah,
had to hurt him
yeah.
big time. So we've got some. Actually, before we get one, I got one more for you before you get into our rapid fire. Going and looking over the 4 teams that you played on in your career, which one? Obviously not last year, but okay, so the other three, your freshman, sophomore
Yeah.
team. Which one do you think had the best chance, not only to reach the Final Four, but maybe even the national championship?
Wow. Um, I think it was this year, to be honest.
This
I
year?
just
Wow.
Yeah, this year. I just think that, and I'm not. Yeah, this year because it was just so open. You know what I mean? Like all the other teams, they were good teams, but like everyone was beatable in my opinion. Where in the
Absolutely.
past you kind of had those teams are like, yeah, they're definitely going to make the Final Four. You know what I mean? So I think it was open, and just the way we played the last 2 games. I mean, it just sucks it had to end like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually don't disagree with that at all. I think that's probably your
Yeah,
best shot with the
yeah,
field being as open as it is. So now let's go and get to the rapid fire question. We've got about 6 or 7 here. We'll go through these as quickly as you can. You can take your time on them if you want. So,
yeah, yeah.
first one is toughest place to play in the Big 12 outside of Kansas.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. Really?
Th-
I thought it was
Yeah,
going to be Iowa State. Why Texas Tech?
they get rowdy at Texas Tech. I like that atmosphere. Their fans are great.
Weirdest arena that you've ever played in?
Um, well, when I went to China, um, going into my junior year summer, we played in a gym where it was about no lie, it's probably like 90 degrees and people were smoking cigarettes in there.
Oh
They were smoking cigarettes in the game, like the fans
my
were.
gosh.
Yeah, so that was
What the
definitely the
heck?
weirdest for me. Yeah.
That's crazy. Let's see here. Beating Pitt or Kansas, which one holds more value to you?
Oh wow. You know, being a huge WVU fan, I am, and growing up, I'm gonna have to say Pitt, just because I know the history with that.
Okay, okay. That had to be good for you because you were able to do that a couple times, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Best win of your career?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Honestly, I'm gonna have to say the Cancun Challenge.
Cancun
That was
Challenge.
one of my favorite wins in my career for sure.
That was a unique place too, because wasn't that like a ballroom type setting?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was different. It was definitely different. Not as weird as the cigarette smoking in the gym though.
That'd be a little weird right off the court to get a huge whiff of cigarettes.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see here. One on one, Oscar or Sack? Who wins that
Wow. You know,
match?
kind of put me on the spot. I'm gonna have to say my guy Sags. I
Sags?
mean, they're both extremely, extremely good players. I don't want to take anything away from either one of them, but I'm gonna say Sags. That was my roommate for 2 years, like two years, and I'm gonna have to say Sags. That's my guy.
Okay. Toughest player that you've had to guard?
Oh my. Um, Barry Brown from Kansas State.
Yeah, that's a good
Uh,
one. Very underrated.
um, yeah, and then we scrimmaged Purdue when they made it to what, the Elite Eight or Final Four, whatever.
Yeah.
Carson Edwards. Carson Edwards is, yeah, that's might be the toughest guy I've ever had to guard in college.
Now, the last one we got here is this one might be a tough one too. Who has the most pro potential on the team currently outside of Oscar?
Wow. Um,
Now you can go a couple guys.
yeah, I mean, I would say Emmett Matthews because of his body type, and that's kind of the prototype in the NBA. Obviously, Derek Culver, um, but just the numbers he puts up and his body size. I mean, the guy's like 6'10", 6'11",
Yeah.
and runs the floor well. Try not to leave anyone out. Uh, you know, anything can happen. I'm not gonna. Anyone has a chance to make that jump, and but those two guys probably stand out the most.
Definitely. And so, one more question before we get you out of here. How do you see this team going next year and in the next couple of years? Do you like the makeup of next year's roster? They've got new guys, Taj the Week coming in, Kedrian Johnson, Isaiah Cottrell. You're bringing back Oscar and Derek Culver. So there's a lot of returning pieces. And you're adding some new guys that are going to bring a lot of um, needed depth, I would say. Even though it's
Yeah.
young depth, where do you like this team next year?
No, the core guys coming back. That's a good group of guys, and I don't know too much about the recruits coming in, but I'm sure if they're coming to WVU, they're all great players. But um, I just think their depth at the guard play, and then rotating those bigs, I think it's definitely gonna be scary next year for sure.
Awesome, Pace. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you stay safe with you and your new fiance. So
Yep.
stay
Yeah.
safe. And actually, before we do get you out of here, what's last question I forgot to get here? What is your next step? What's your next plans after college?
Yeah. So I'm hoping. Well, I'm going to sign an agent in mid-April, and then start my professional career overseas.
Good deal, Chase.
Yep.
Good luck, man. Stay
Thank you.
safe, and we'll try to talk to you here sometime soon.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, that was Chase Harler, former West Virginia guard. I'm Skylar Callan here with Sports Illustrated's Mountaineer Maven. We'll be back next week for more interviews here on Between the Years.